That, of course, Bruce Springsteen on stage in Manchester last night. Manchester, England. Taking a pause there, taking several moments to absolutely unload on the sitting president of the United States during the first leg of his international tour. And that was just one moment.
Tonight, we ask all who believe in democracy and the best of our American experience to rise with us, raise your voices against authoritarianism, and let freedom reign.
And as you probably could have predicted at this point, it's catching all sorts of headlines, including from the president himself. And yes, Donald Trump did react, posting to social media today, in part, quote, "I see that the highly overrated Bruce Springsteen goes to a foreign country to speak badly about the president of the United States. Never liked him, never liked his music or his radical left politics." Now, the saying used to be that politics stops at the water's edge, meaning when elected leaders go abroad, the criticism stops. Bruce Springsteen, obviously not an elected leader, but what about that moment, given the phrase, or at least what it used to mean? Full panel here with me now. Nicordoli, give me your last name.
Nicordoli Corte.
Nicordoli Corte, excuse me, sorry about that, as a professor at Pepperdine University. Carla Sands, former ambassador to Denmark and Greenland. Chris Stirewalt, host of The Hill Sunday, senior fellow at the American Enterprise Institute, and Michael Schnell, congressional reporter for The Hill. Thanks for being here. Appreciate y'all. I want to start with you because you're an ambassador. You served abroad in Denmark and Greenland, famously now. What'd you make of an American going overseas, and obviously you're a supporter of the president, but going after the sitting president of the United States like that?
Yeah, it's a shame that Democrats don't seem to be following the norms, the rules of the road. My predecessor criticized me and President Trump's policies all during my service. So we're not supposed to do that. We're literally told by the State Department, politics stops at the water's edge. Do not criticize the administration. And so when you're abroad, and that it is something that's not supposed to be broken, shameful that Bruce Springsteen did that.
Do you think that holds, though, for celebrities, athletes, regular American citizens? I mean, he's a private citizen.
Yeah, I don't think anybody cares what celebrities say, as a matter of fact. And the things that he criticized the president for, it sounded like he was talking about Joe Biden. Corruption, treasonous, not following the Constitution. Well, those are all things that Joe Biden did. So it kind of feels like he's sort of casting on Trump.
Right spot to do it. He was abroad.
He was abroad, and I think part of the beauty of the United States of America is our freedom is the envy of the world. And whether you're foreign or domestic, you have an opportunity to make your views known, make your voice heard. That's what Bruce Springsteen did in England. And he was very careful. If you look at the video of him delivering his remarks, he was clearly reading something. He's since posted it to his social media. It's on his YouTube channel, so he's not walking away from it. And he said what the quiet part out loud, what so many Americans and people around the world are reeling over related to the sitting president.
You think he was being careful there? It seemed fairly calculated, right? Like at the beginning of a tour to say it abroad.
Absolutely.
I mean, he could say something whenever he wants, and it would go mainstream.
Well, it looked that he was not off the cuff delivering those remarks. They were clearly scripted remarks. He was clearly leaning in and reading something. But, Bruce Springsteen's concert tour is going to be just fine, just like Taylor Swift's going to be fine.
Yeah, the president
just like
went
Beyonce is going to be fine.
The president went after Taylor Swift today, too.
Yeah.
But don't you think he alienated half of his fan base? Like, why would he do that?
I don't think so. I mean, look at what he actually said. He's talking about things that are actually happening. The rolling back of historic civil rights legislation. Right now, the Supreme Court is considering birthright citizenship. And the Trump administration is pushing to eliminate that, going after America's universities. He didn't say anything that's not happening.
Yeah, I disagree.
Michael?
I think that this underscores that really in this day and age, politics transcends everything. You cannot really be any part of the world, any part of the country, any industry without being involved in politics. Politics is just everywhere you look now. It's just that's the current polarized state that the country's in right now. But one way to look at it is Bruce Springsteen's a New Jersey guy, Donald Trump's a New York guy.
Yeah.
Maybe they're butting heads.
It used to be, and I know he's not a politician, but that was sort of the standard. We're now in this hyper-connected world in which anything happens at any moment, and that standard's gone.
I cannot make myself care about this even a molecule. Bruce Springsteen has been campaigning for Democrats since at least I covered him campaigning for John Kerry in 2004. Bruce Springsteen is a Democrat. He's an enthusiastic Democrat. He says stuff. At least I don't have to. I mean, can you imagine going to a concert and listening to an elderly pop star lecture you at great length about poli sci? The only person whose opinion I care less about on these matters than Bruce Springsteen is James Comey. But it works great for Republicans to play victim. It works great for Republicans to say, look at us, they're coming after us. It's like, guys, you have the Congress, you have the White House, you got it all. I don't think your biggest problem is whether pop stars from New Jersey are saying unkind things.
So Bruce Springsteen has had a lot of hits, 12 top 10 hits on the Billboard Top 100, 27 songs total. I didn't know he's never had a number one, but neither here nor there, tons of hits. You know who's had more? The hit king, Pete Rose.
Oh, Lord.
4,256 hits. Major League Baseball, why am I bringing this up? Major League Baseball reinstated Pete Rose earlier this week. And Stephen A. Oh, fist bump for you?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Stephen A. Smith had this theory on his podcast. Watch.
And now you know what else we're hearing? That the reason Rob Manfred may have come, we're not sure, but may have come to this decision is because President Trump was pressuring him to do so because he's been wanted. Pete Rose taken off of that ineligibility list. Let's keep our eyes on what President Trump does on behalf of Major League Baseball down the line.
Think there's anything to it?
Look, the president is trying to shape American culture. And these are some of the ways in which he's going about doing it. He's made himself chairman of the Kennedy Center. You might have noticed that the NFL recently are sort of backsliding from their diversity, equity, and inclusion commitments. All this stuff is not a coincidence. And so I wouldn't be surprised if the president put his thumb on the scale there, made his views known. But the question's going to be, how do folks respond to this? For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. And so are these cultural influencers, is their influence going to come back with a vengeance?
Right.
Or will the president continue to reshape America in his image?
He did meet with Rob Manfred, the commissioner of Major League Baseball, a few weeks ago. You think there's something to what Stephen A. says?
Maybe. But I just have to say, diversity, equity, and inclusion, in my opinion, that's discriminatory. So it's unconstitutional and discrimination. So
Discriminatory to who?
To the people that are cut out because they're not the right gender or the right color. So we, in America, if we have a meritocracy and the best person for every job gets hired, we have a better country. That's the truth. That's how we became.
I don't know if that's the truth. I mean, legacy admissions, that's a form of
we didn't talk
DEI.
about legacy. We talked about
that a lot of people enjoy.
What about this idea maybe from Stephen A.?
It's possible. It's true. I think this gets back to the initial point of you can't look anywhere or do anything without politics becoming involved. I mean, baseball sort of always had the undertones of politics being involved, but we've seen it definitely more. Folks going against different mascots, changing names. Now we have the situation going on with Pete Rose. You can't look anywhere without thinking politics. It's just innately involved in our world now.
Is that kind of the theme here?
Major League Baseball reinstated Pete Rose and Shoeless Joe Jackson.
And others.
Because Major League Baseball is in the gambling business now, and you can't really keep people banned for doing something, and Shoeless Joe, wrongly accused. But you can't keep people banned for doing something that you're making lots of money on and hawking all the time. The cognitive dissonance of that was just too much, and they knuckled under because money talks and you know what walks. And I'm a St. Louis Cardinals fan.
You are. I know that about you.
I am, and don't care for the Cincinnati Reds. But you can't take anything away from how hard Pete Rose played the game.
I'm kind of shocked Trump hasn't weighed in on this.
Well, I mean, Pete Rose and Donald Trump are the same kind of person, which is they're anti-heroes. They are counterpunchers. I'm sure that Donald